oldest and that went to school at Poplar Springs. I guess Granny Thompson is the next oldest one. I'm not too sure about that, but that is her right there. But Lester is the oldest and so far. Might find one older sometime. Don't get all that motion next to your head. I got a mic plugged in. There it is. Eugene Thompson, right there in the center now. Gene Cardwell right there behind him, just peeping over his head. That's Granny Thompson right in the back of that, if it ever moves. Now there's a shot of Granny Thompson. Somebody got up in front of her again. That's a good one right there. A lot of people passing by. I just let Korsner just signing the register book. Of course, that's Odell there behind him.
You're getting license, Jack. Uh-oh.
David Thompson and Sam.
That's right.
Here, tell us who you are.
I'm Dean Gallagher. I'm from Kingston, Tennessee. But my nieces and nephews came to school here. Great nieces and nephews, some of them dead.
Thank you. Yeah. Back up just a little bit. Yeah, that's a good one. That is a good one. That's Red Hahn's wife. I hadn't seen Red yet. I don't remember what her name was. I haven't seen him. Did he go up Poplar Springs or? I'm sure he did. I don't guess he ever went.
Hey, look here. Johnny, that
Let me get that.
Johnny,
Let me get that on there.
Where did you get that? What's that? Come on, Moby's head. If I'd have told him to put the bait for OB. Come on, Moby's head, didn't it?
Glenn Willis.
You're making everybody mad.
There is Mr. Smallin. Curly. Since OV's not here. Catch a few of them as they come in the door. That's Mr. Arthur Cook right there. Need to loan him some hair. Hit a few more as they come in the door. There's Ronnie Willis. Still more coming in. It's on the entrance to the door.
Hot back there next to the door. You come on down and take a seat. I want to get to preach for a few minutes here. I don't get this captive audience too much, except the younger generation of school kids, so it's nice to have some of my peers here anyhow. Anybody who doesn't know me, and there's a lot of you here that I don't know, and I'm sure more of you know me probably than I do you. My name is Billy Bruce Watkins. I don't claim that anymore, but that was my name, and that's what most of you would know me by when I lived out in the country on the Watkins home place. I guess it was a couple of months ago, Edith called me and told me that we were going to have a reunion of the people who attended Poplar Springs. I asked her if she was planning on renting an auditorium because I knew the school had been there a long time before me, and it was there some years after me. Yes, it actually survived me. So I figured we'd have a lot of people. And in fact, we do have a lot of people here. I think it's a testament to the feelings that we had about that place. I can assure you, and I've been all over the world, that any time I settled down and got a little mellow, shouldn't say what on, since we do have a couple of legitimate preachers here, and started thinking about my past, it wasn't long till I was telling tales about things that happened to me at Poplar Springs. Some of them, unfortunately, one or two of them, I can't tell in mixed company. So we'll let those pass. But anyhow, I'm sure all of you remember. And since I noticed there was a picture back here on the board of 1909, group. It goes even further back than that, I'm told. And the best I can find out, it was about 1957 when they finally shut it down on us. So there's a lot of years in there, and there were a lot of people. When Edith asked me to say something about it, gosh, I didn't know what to say, and I'm not so sure now that I really know what to say about it. So before I do have a few comments about it, let me get rid of a couple of administrative tasks. You know, you always have those to deal with. First of all, I think we should thank Edith and Joyce and all of the others who were instrumental in the idea of getting us all together. And I would like to say that I think we should give them a round of applause. There's an awful lot of work that goes into this kind of get-together that most of us don't see. And I'm sure they've spent a lot of effort on it. There is also, unfortunately, a little money involved in the doing of it. The renting of the building, the posting of the ads, etc. So we have a little plate here, and of course all of us have been to church and listened to the preacher. So this is your contribution to help us defray the cost of the building and some of the other things that Edith and Joyce had to pay for. So if you would, if you feel obligated to do so, we would appreciate it if you drop $1 or so in here, and we'll pass it around and give it to them and kind of help defray the expenses. We would appreciate it if you could do that for us. The next thing I have here is a list prepared by Edith and others of the teachers we had there. I am told by no means is this an exhaustive list, and I'm also told that we're fortunate enough to have a couple of these here with us today. Fan Gallion, Dora MacArthur, excuse me. Loda Millsaps, Mrs. Harriet Blair, Mrs. Lenny Rose Williams. I understand she's still alive, quite elderly, but still alive. Kate Hall, Era Millsap, Grace McKelvey Farrell, Margaret Thompson, Ursa Giles. I do remember a few things about her. Eleanor Smollett, Polly Blair Bird. I do remember a little about her, too. Winfred Flowers Nelson. I understand here? No? Okay. Helen Thomas. I know she's here. All good students who came to school regularly got little gold stars and all other colored stars, you know. And my understanding is Edith has a couple of gifts to give away today for good students. Seriously, what we would like to do is see if we can establish who among you, now unfortunately that may require you to admit your age a little bit, but who among you attended Poplar Springs the first earliest date, I should say, here? And what was that year, ma'am?
Oh, I don't know.
I started in 1911.
1911, this gentleman says. Do we have anyone that would like to be earlier? He probably would then. Ask him if he'll step inside a minute. I know it's a little warm in here, a little difficult for some of you to breathe. Okay. How about who among you, and everybody would like to admit to this, who among you attended in the latest year? That's the year nearest to this 1990. And what year was that, sir? 56, 57. Anybody else want to fess up to it? Same time frame? Okay. Anyone else admit to being there at the end? Did you have them there? Okay. Another one over here.
Years old when I went. It's been about 62 years ago.
It survived that last year.
Good shape with that.
I was 36 and 37.
36 and 37. Okay.
That's not our age either.
Well, now be careful now. Okay, I'll make sure Edith gets this. If I said it here among the money, why, or among the food, somebody might partake a little. Okay, did you get those identified for us then, Edith? You can make these three gentlemen in the last year arm wrestle for it if you like or something. Oh, there he is, back there. I didn't even see him. Hi, Bob. Let's see, then that makes you responsible for some of the memories I have of the place then, right? Do we have any other individuals we want to thank, Edith, or something, before I say a few words here?
I want to thank everybody because Elsie Ray and Martha Seed and Thelma Small was with Joyce and me on the committee. And others helped us a lot. If they hadn't, we couldn't have done it. And we just want to thank everybody for what they've done. And I didn't hear the names of the ones that was the oldest. You asked that yet?
I believe this gentleman over here said he attended in, what year was it? 1911? Yeah. The ones that attended with the most children here today. They didn't have to attend it, just they're here, huh? So the ones that brought the biggest family is going to eat the most, huh? Okay, she'd like to know which one of you that attended school here brought the most of your kids with you today to help eat up the food. There's a whole bunch sitting at this table pointing at each other, so.
I'm happy they had 7 in school here today. Hey, Dory Thompson has 9 children here, and she attended.
Okay, fine. I don't think anybody's quarrel with that. Okay, if there's nothing else of that sort, I would like to dwell a few moments on. They used to say you can tell when you get an old when you like to talk about the past more than you do the future. Well, I don't want to admit I'm old, but I would like to dwell for a few moments about a few memories I have of Poplar Springs and the area out there. Does anyone remember the nice boards that were on the floor that they took the oil off and wiped back and forth down? And woe be unto you if you happen to have decided it was cold that day and you and one of the other kids snuck under the floor to eat your lunch out of the box and they oiled the floor because you might have a little dripping for a day or two down on you between the cracks in the floor. There were a lot of cracks in the floors, if you remember. And they kept them well oiled.
I remember. I cleaned, me and Bobby used to clean the schoolhouse, and we got paid $15 a whole month, and we cleaned it every day.
So you were responsible for smearing the oil, right? Okay. And we had a nice pot-bellied stove. Of course, by the time I got there, they had a coal pile to go with it. If you know what young kids do on coal piles. Yeah. Okay. And it was... And I'm sure everybody remembers what one finger and 2 fingers meant when you held it up, right? It meant for the moment I have to leave the room. better let me go, because it's quite a piece up the hill to the boys. It wasn't quite as far behind the house to the girls, right? The bell I remember was a lot bigger than this one, and in fact, you could hear it for a half mile away. I can attest to this because one of our favorite pastimes was to play hide and seek, or Lord knows, cowboys, whatever you want to call it. But we sure had some well-worn trails all over the hillsides of the hills that ranged all the way around the valley. She would always ring the bell for us, I believe, 15 minutes before lunch was over. And the reason for that was to get us back to the schoolhouse, because we were so far away, it was going to take that long to get back, especially when we knew what the bell was being rung for. You know, it didn't take us that long to get out there to start. And I'm sure you all remember that nice level front yard we had where we tried to play ball once in a while. With all those nice boulders and the gullies running down through it. There was an awful lot of bruises there. Oh, we don't talk about fights. I might have lost more of those than I won. So I didn't talk about that. That was just strapping our stuff a little bit. You know, every once in a while there was a cute little girl out there we had to kind of impress a little bit.
We used to have pie suppers.
Yes, we used to have pie suppers, and I was remembering we used to put on at Christmas. Two other gentlemen helped me with that. Unfortunately, they decided they wasn't going to do theirs, so I had to recite the whole thing. I won't bore you all, but I can still recite it today. I'm sure my wife can attest to that. She's heard me. And even my kids, unfortunately. But what I'm trying to get you to do is think back to those times. There used to be a phrase about those were the best of times. And to some they say those were the worst of times. I started in the fall of the year with a new pair of brogans, a couple of pair of bib overalls, and some shirts made off of flour sacks that we got down at the local mills. If the shoes run out, and I know you young kids there got there, we went barefooted a little early that year. Right? Sure did.
Learn to get it.
Oh, and those summertime pastimes, when we got to work on the farm for $1 a day, out in those hay fields, throwing that hay up on the wagon, getting under those hot tin roofs. Well, that was good work. Pulling out the corn. Oh, that was so much fun. We really look forward to having summers come. Hey. Well, I tell you what, I think it's a testament to this place that all of you came here. And I don't think there's anything I can say that would be a better testament to it than the fact you took the time and effort to do it. And I know it's getting warm here, and I know we've got a lot of good food to eat. So I will ask David if he would say the blessing for us, and we'll get on with eating it.
Edith likewise asked me to say whatever I want to say. I wish Johnny Lynn was here. Because one of the funny stories that I remember about Poplar Springs is how Miss Ursa used to send us down to the little willow tree, right by the spring house, to get you a nice long limb. You know, when you had done something, of course, we did something that we deserved it right along. So Eddie Smallin and Johnny Lynn Smallin and myself made a little trip down there. Eddie and I tore off a nice long limber limb. And Lynn found an old driver, and he said, about 2 licks with this, and it'll be over. Well, I got mine first. You know, she'd whip you till it wasn't, you know, the limb broke. So about, 7, 8, 10 licks, something, my limb broke. Eddie was next, 7 or 8 or 10 licks, his broke. Then she set it on Johnny Limb, that dry limb, and she whipped him because she got tired, and the limb never broke. I never, you always look for a limber limb when you go. My fondest memories of the school is the fact that now, as we struggle about prayer being taken out of school and all this, of course, prayer got took out of home before it got took out of school. But I think about the time how the missionaries used to come. They would come in and they would give us little testaments. And you memorize so many Bible verses, you get a testament. And then you go on, you could win a Bible and even vacation Bible school, summer camp if you took enough. And I thank the Lord for the heritage that we've been taught about Jesus. And probably most of the verses that I still yet know today, I learned in that little one-room school down there. I also found that when I came from there to the ground where we're sitting here, I feel like we was far ahead of those other folks because, I thank God for that. And I still yet, I moved up north and got to share a lot of them. Well, I went to a one-room school. Naturally, they think I was from the 1800s, but this, like he said, this was a great testimony that we came here together. And most of us haven't saw each other since their school days. A lot of us haven't. But just thank God for the fact that they taught us about the Lord. And like I say, all those good times. I'm sure if everybody started telling them, there'd be some funny things happening. But most of us raised talking about how those, your shoes would run out and all this. But the amazing thing was, nobody knew we was poor. This is the way it was in every place. And I just, nobody ever complained about it. Now everybody, they got everything and they complain about being poor. Nobody complained about being poor when I was growing up. Everybody lived this way. We thought the whole world was going like we were. And we was happy. Money doesn't make you happy. But good friends and a good school teacher and some of those fights that you had on the way home and stuff, they made you happy. So I thank the Lord for the privilege that I've had of growing up in this community and having good friends like you all. And I thank the Lord most of all for His mercy that through all the meanness I went through, He still reached down and saved me. And He's called me to preach, and that's why they, I don't know if there's any other ministers. I didn't know this, but they said before they knew there was no other ministers. And I'll assure you, those that went to school with me would never have thought that God would go call me to preach. But, His mercy endures forever. So I know you're wanting to eat, so let's just bow our heads and let's ask the Lord to bless this time and bless this food. Father, I praise you, Lord, for this time of coming together here, Lord. I praise you, God, for the time of fellowship. I praise you, Lord, for your mercy and your grace that's been extended down over the time. Lord, I ask your blessings upon the food, bless it to our bodies, and use us, Lord, to your glory, and we give you praise for it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Make sure everybody signs the register back there if you haven't already before you leave. We want a record of everyone who was here.
And you can't hear it now, that is blocked. Let me get this line there.